Cardinal set all high schools free, I think, you're on your own financially.
Dan? Dan, I'm going to start.
Oh, I thought you were going to make a motion.
She's not here, and we're going to start. Okay? Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Audit and Administration Committee meeting on February 19th. Legislator Regan, will you please say the Pledge of Allegiance? Changed it.
Yes, we did. Want to get the hats off?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'm going to ask the clerk to call the roll.
Legislator Regan.
Present.
Legislator Russo. Chairwoman Crowley.
Present. I am going to make a motion to go out of order for agenda item number 5, which is the approval of Planning Department submission of application for the 2025 Department of Transportation and Alternatives Program TAP grant funding. Do I have a second?
Yes, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Madam Chair, I'm technically a member of this committee as chairman, so I'm going to accuse myself in this as one of the potential grantee parties who's a client of my firm, of which I'm a partner. So I'm going to step out, and I would ask maybe Diane or Michelle Getty at this matter done. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. So we're going to move to agenda item number 5, which is the Planning Department submission of application for 2025 Department of Transportation Alternatives Program TAP grant funding. I'm going to ask Commissioner Barosa to come up and speak on that, and if Interim Commissioner Carlin would also like to come in.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
This is a request to apply for the TAP grant program. Sorry. So this is requesting to apply for a TAP grant. It is funding for a sidewalk section on Fair Street in town of Phillipstown. It is a county-owned section with a tiny bit within the village. It would be connecting a missing piece along a pretty main corridor from the village and connecting it to Little Stony Point. The county would be sponsoring this project. The match actually would be provided by Hudson Highlands Fjord Trail. So there would be no cost to the county.
Okay. And there's a time constraint on this as well, correct?
So the application deadline is March 12th, so which is why we asked to be included in the next available meeting and couldn't wait for physical, which I think physical would likely be after the deadline.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the committee regarding this?
Nope.
Any questions from any legislators?
I don't have any questions. I'd just like to make a statement.
Legislator
If I-
Montgomery?
Thank you, through the chair. Thank you, Commissioner Barosa, for all your work on this. I think our mayor and our supervisor are here. Thank you for the collaboration on this. I want to really thank Hudson Highlands Fjord Trail for their extraordinary $450,000 contribution and commitment to the municipalities for continuing to work toward advancing this long-needed pedestrian safety project. I strongly support advancing this. This is a long documented pedestrian safety need on the route Fair Street corridor. My involvement has been focused on one thing, keeping this important opportunity viable while ensuring the grant record actually accurately reflects our adopted planning documents in the towns and villages, and I just want to protect taxpayer resources and protect the grant application itself and make sure that it's factual, accurate, and stands the best chance at approval.
Thank you, Legislator Montgomery. I appreciate that. We have all been working tirelessly. Commissioner Barosa, thank you so much for amending different things and amending the language to make it suitable, and we have a very good chance of achieving this tonight. Do we have any other legislators that would like to comment? Anybody from the public?
I do appreciate the time.
Come right up to the podium, Supervisor, please, and state your name.
John Van Tassel, Supervisor, Town of Putnam. I greatly appreciate the county taking on this grant. We've sought several opportunities to get the 80% refundable portion or reimbursement portion, which was successful, and I'm thankful to the county for taking it over. And as Legislator Montgomery said, this is a greatly needed safety improvement for that corridor. We have a huge tourism usage in that area. It's only going to continue to grow, and this will give us at least one route for people to get on a sidewalk from the village of Cold Spring through the Phillips down and onto the trail system. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Anybody have questions?
Thank you, Supervisor. We're excited to see, or hopefully see, this come to fruition and protect the people of Cold Spring and the people that travel in to use these trails.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Catherine Foley, I'm the mayor of Cold Spring. I haven't met Legislator Weaver yet.
We've sat in the back room together last year.
Okay, well, nice to see you in the front of the room. I'm joined also by Andrew Hall, who is one of our trustees. I would like to make sure that all of you know how well the county departments have worked with us as local officials in spearheading this application. Barbara Barosa in particular, Commissioner Carlin, and also on the DPW side, they've been wonderful to work with and great partners, and we're looking very much forward to crossing the finish line of this initiative now. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor.
Good evening, everyone. Andrew Hall. I'm a Village of Cold Spring trustee. I actually live on Third Street, so I can attest to how heavily it's used and how much over time the traffic following for pedestrian and vehicle traffic has increased on that stretch. So I also, like my colleague said, strongly support them, and I also appreciate all of their efforts to bring a much needed improvement in infrastructure to that area. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Do we have any other comments? With that said, I'm going to move this for approval. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Thanks.
We're going to move to agenda item, we're going to go out of order again. I'm going to make a motion to bring forth agenda item number 6. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Approval of local law to amend Article 5 of Chapter 220 of the Code of Putnam County, 1, to clarify application of real property tax law, Section 467, and 2, to increase the maximum senior citizen property tax exemption. Interim Commissioner Carlin. Yeah, come on up.
I can speak in general terms of this.
Would you like to hear from me since I proposed it?
Can we let him just give us
Sure.
a brief overview, and then Legislator Montgomery, you can fire away. And we appreciate you proposing it and bringing it to our attention.
I was just going to talk about the exemption. If you go to 65%, in terms of the county tax, it will not have that big an increase because the county is the smallest tax. Obviously, when you look at the exemptions, if you give it to one group of people, that means you're spreading the cost onto every other group of people. And in terms of the county tax, I know Trish has provided figures. The cost per person would be minimal, but where the changes are really are the school taxes, because the school taxes, as we know in Putnam County, are the highest part of the bill.
Okay. Legislator Montgomery, would you like to give us some background on your proposal?
Sure. This came from 3 distinct areas. First, the December 2025 New York State law that changed, allowing us for a 65% exemption as opposed to what we have now, which is a 50% exemption. And then in addition, brought to us by constituents, which is how I always like to bring things forward. I don't have an original thought or idea. Most of my things are brought to me by people I serve. And that's, you know, everything I've done thus far in this 19 years I've been in office has come from the people I serve. So obviously our seniors are watching us and they know that this has become available to them, and there was a request to take a look at this. And in that request and taking a look at it, I was really fortunate to have the help of the town assessor in Phillipstown, Brian Kinney, the town assessor in Carmel, Christopher Paleo, and our own Director of Real Property Services, Trish McLaughlin. You all had a memo from the town assessor from Phillipstown, which explains a really complex issue of why this really is necessary today and why we called the special meeting. It's not so much for the 65%, which when we do pass that will not affect the 2026 taxes. That won't take effect until 2027. And we still have work to do on that once we pass that tonight. But it ensures our exemption program is administered correctly and consistently with state law. It clarifies the legislature's original intent, except where the county has specifically set income thresholds and exemption percentages. And it follows the same definitions and options already adopted by each town under Real Property Tax Law 467. It also does reflect the December 25th change in state law. And just to go into detail of why this is necessary now, we're entering into tax season March 1st. The assessors are all busy at work and preparing, and we need this language in our law to jive with the town's law. And as spelled out in the assessor's memo, it does that. We had a case in the town of Phillipstown where the hearing officer misinterpreted the fact that the county would follow whatever each town's options or add-ins already are as to what is considered income for this exemption. He decided that for county tax exemption purposes only, the exemption should not allow IRA distributions but be counted as income, contrary to what Phillipstown requires. So this was resulting in granting of a 50% aged exemption for the county portion of the individual's tax assessment and the tax bill, and a decision was written ordering the reduction of the county tax and therefore retroactive refund. So in this case, we had to refund someone $1,000. So this can happen across the county and across through the town. So this law, the way it's written, I hope, and thank you for the law department for looking at it, and Heather worked really hard on it too. Yeah, I didn't mention Heather. Heather from, since the beginning was really helpful on this. So I hope it cleans things up as we enter tax season and we won't have to refund. Everything's clear and on board.
Thank you, Legislator Montgomery.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you bringing that forward. I'm sure many residents do. Legislator Regan?
Thank you, Chairman. A question for Commissioner Collin here. I'm very familiar with the 466A when it comes to volunteer services, but with this initiative, is it automatically granted, or does the individual have to apply for the exemption?
That I don't know. That's outside my bailiwick. That's more a question for Trish or the assessors.
Okay.
I don't know the answer to that.
Beth, you can follow up on that?
You can follow up, and yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the committee? Legislators? Legislator Goldman?
Do we know an exact amount yet, or a close amount?
Well, Trish
Sent
had
it
put in
out.
estimates, but in terms of the county, it was $64.6 million in assessed value. In terms of county taxes, that's very little. That's pennies.
So it doesn't, for each individual, it breaks down to...
Right, each individual might get it, but in terms of spreading it across the much larger base, it's pennies. I don't know how much each individual would get. That's more a question for an assessor or somebody who would look at the school tax rolls, because that's where the savings will be.
So, Trish had sent me, just some semantics here. It's about $1.90
Yeah.
change in someone's tax bill for a $300,000 home and $3.20 change for a $500,000
Right,
home.
yeah, that's
So it's
the
minimal,
county.
To the advantage of the senior, so just some numbers.
I'm happy, and sorry, if I may.
I'm going to let Legislator
Sure.
D'Angelo go. He had his hand up, and then I'll go back to you. Legislator D'Angelo?
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm really glad that this is something that we're going to be hopefully taking a vote on later this evening. Tax relief for seniors was something I talked a lot about over the past year. These are people who built our community and contributed to our economy for so long, so it's important, especially these times where cost of living is quite out of control. We do everything we can, whether it's a lot of savings or even just a little bit. I think it's a great start. Something I talked about and something I'd love to see if our state legislators could do is maybe give local governments an ability to cap seniors from future tax increases. We have the lowest taxes in the county that we've had in about 20 years now, so it'd be a good place to do that. Those are just my thoughts, but I look forward to voting yes on this if this moves through the committee this evening.
Thank you, Legislator D'Angelo.
Who's voting?
Legislator
fix the
Montgomery,
echo
I'm
and
going to
the-
let Legislator
Sure.
Birmingham go.
It was like that last month, last meeting also.
No, my mic. Take that.
I'll speak loudly. Yeah, it's a problem. Thank you.
Sullivan.
Yeah, I'm also, just to echo a little bit of what Legislator D'Angelo said. Yeah, I think it's a great thing that we can try and do this. Every penny counts. Just for sake of clarity, even if there's a no vote on this tonight, this will still be entertained at the special full because it'll be reported out of committee. I know you had made a distinction whether if it passes out of committee. It doesn't have to pass out of committee in order for us to entertain it at tonight's special meeting. So I'm looking forward to voting on this as a legislator in the special full that'll happen after this meeting. I think it's a great program, and thank you to Legislator Montgomery for proposing it. Thank you.
Legislator Montgomery.
Again, a lot of work went into it from the law department and our assessors especially. I just want to clarify what this law actually does. The most important part right now is clarifying the language so we don't run into the same problem we had with the refunds that we had to give. But this law, it's very complex, right? Tax stuff is complex. That's why we're here and we fight so much, but no. It gives us the authority to go up to 65%, but that doesn't, any actual increase in the exemption is going to require another formal legislative step, which I'm working on. This is going to require another step on our part. It doesn't mean that seniors are going to get the exemption. Obviously, this year, we have to take, there are a number of steps in this. So what did I write here? We're going to need another local law amendment, and that's in the works, that updates the income brackets, which Heather provided, I believe, and so we'll come back with the concrete proposal, in other words.
Thank you, Legislator Montgomery. Do we have any other legislators that would like to speak? Anybody from the public? With that, I'm going to ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And I'm going to make a motion to go out of order again to agenda item 8A, which is, well, we have to make a motion to accept other business, so I'll do that first. Second. And then make a motion to go out of order to accept other business and go out of order. So we have a second to that?
Second.
And this is the approval of 25A 127 after request of Finance. It's the following budgetary amendments that are required. It's the end of year entry number 3.
Yes, it runs along the lines of the other budgetary amendments, adjusting the books. This is the third of what probably will be 4. We're now at the phase getting ready for the audit where the expenses are pretty much done, and now we're doing the revenue accruals, accounts, receivables and payables to finish off the year, so there'll probably be one more addition. This one is basically adjusting everything to actually what happened, except for, I did want to point out to the board, the last one, which we are increasing the money for the access control. That would be the last two lines in the 05 fund. As a result, as you know, of things that have been going on, we are putting money to jumpstart access control issues a lot on this building and even on this floor. So that's starting that process, and that process will be continuing.
Okay, thank you. Any legislators from the committee? Any comments?
Yeah, question, Commissioner Cohen?
Yes.
So those adjustments, is that departmentalized?
Yes, well, yeah, it's put in the capital projects, and it'll be used out of the capital project among all departments. There's a department assessment for everyone that's going to be going on.
Okay, thank you.
Legislator Birmingham?
Yeah, I don't need, Mike, I'll speak loudly. Bill, it's a capital project, I guess, the
Yes.
Danbury rail study, we're decreasing.
Yes, we're closing that out. That's substantially complete.
Again, that was from a few years ago.
Yes,
But
yep.
because it's part of the capital projects committee, it's not part of the operating budget for 2025. correct?
No, that's correct.
Okay.
Yep, everything in the 05 fund is not part of the operating budget.
Thank you, thank you.
Any other legislators?
Just a question to tag on to that, and that study's complete?
No, I think the assessment is ongoing, and there are changes that are being done now.
Still in the study phase?
Well, which one?
I'm sorry, the Danbury Rail. Yeah, that's,
That study, part is complete, right, the Danbury Rail study? Yes. I thought you were talking about
No.
control, my sorry.
no. And it's and is there any plans for implementation? Well, that's another whole meeting.
Right, that's probably a physical thing.
Thank you.
Any other questions from legislators? Any questions from the public? I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Study was millions, and
Commissioner
it's gonna stay on
Cullen.
a shelf.
We are going to move
That
back
study was
to
millions.
agenda item
It's
3,
gonna stay on a shelf.
correspondence from the county auditor. We're going to go to 3A, which is an FYI, the sales tax report. We are at $83,500,000 for the year, and we are $244,331 more than we appropriated for, so we're doing good with sales tax. Any questions for legislators? Committee? Public? Okay. 3B is going to be the board and revenue report. We are down a little there, $24,375. So that's for an FYI. Any questions from committee? Legislators? Public? We're going to go to 3C, which is the transfer revenue report, and you guys can look over that. Any questions from the committee? Legislators? Public? 3D is the contingency and subcontingency report. Again, as an FYI. Any questions from the committee? Legislators? Public? Okay. We're going to move on to 4A, which is correspondence from the Commissioner of Finance, the approval for Budgetary Amendment 26A004, the Health Department, a private well for PFAS pilot program. This was also reviewed in Health.
Yep, it's a private well testing program. They talked about it in health. It's basically, we're getting $300,000 in state aid to use for this program, and there'll be no county dollars or no county fiscal impact.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee? Any questions from any legislators? Legislator Montgomery?
I'm still trying to understand that. We're getting $300,000. We have the potential to get $1.5 million and we're going to see how the $300,000 goes.
Right.
And then,
It's a pilot program, and we'll see.
but they have allocated 1.5 million to us, correct?
Correct, I believe so, but I'm not sure that you can get that right away until you prove in your pilot program that you demonstrate the need.
Okay.
Legislator Birmingham?
Yeah, on that point, to echo what Nancy was saying, maybe, and this isn't for you, Bill, and maybe on your committee, this committee, audit or maybe health, the commissioner, or I should say, the director of public health, when he was here last week, said we get 1.5, and they kind of broke it up into 5 pieces because it's a 5-year program, that's where we get the
Right.
Maybe we might want to have a progress report monthly in one of these 2 committees to show how quickly we're using it up, so that if a further budgetary amendment might be needed later on in the year, to get more than 1.5 sooner, if it's needed, that would help keep us in the loop.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether the grant allows that, but I get your point. I'd probably do quarterly though, instead of monthly.
Or quarterly, whatever, but I think Bill Lord did say, he just kind of cut it up 5 and 5 ways, for convenience sake. So
Yeah.
if that's good, perhaps one of the committees might want to request either a longer update on the spend down, and if we're in July or August, and we're already going through the 300, obviously there's a need.
Right.
And if we get the 1 point, because state budgets change, federal budgets change over the years, if we can get the 1.5 earlier and use it earlier, I think it's just a good thing, so food for thought.
Okay.
Good to.
And we'll add that on as, I just asked that to Legislator Montgomery.
Yeah, I mean, page 3 does say up to a maximum aggregate amount of 1.5. So how we access that is, I like the idea of having someone come to the meetings, although I do have to say thank you to Brian Stevens, the public health sanitarian from the health department who is here. We don't often get to see those guys at our meetings, and it was great to have him here to explain the program. I don't want to make him come out at night. These guys work all day and then they have to come to these meetings, Barbara. But I would like, even if it's a memo update would be
Yeah,
cool.
I think
That'd be great.
Commissioners should do it to the health committee.
Great. I'll ask for it. Thank you for the suggestion.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the other legislators? Questions from the public? Going to make a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. We're going to move on to 4C, which is the approval of budgetary, B, sorry. Approval of budgetary amendment 26A007, Planning Department Fund Pavement Management Program utilizing federal UPWP funds, also reviewed in physical.
Again, this is money we're allocated by the state through a UPWP program, and it's formula funding, I believe, and it's no fiscal impact to the county.
Any questions from the committee? Any questions?
Would you mind expanding upon what formula you said?
Formula funding, it's based on what population and factors such as that.
So our portion in Putnam County is based on our population?
A lot of programs are based on that.
I know a lot.
It depend on the region, how much funding is available for the region. Come on up.
Actually, this is, the Unified Planning Work Program is funding from MNTIC, which we do receive the formula funding, but this is actually, we submit for it. We have to do certain planning tasks as part of the Metropolitan Planning Organization, which is a MNTIC, a lot of acronyms. And part of it is doing studies on, we call it data management. It's what they use to come up with projects and the foundation for the project. So we are doing a pavement management study of the condition of all of the pavement on the county roads to determine when we need to replace or repave.
Thank you.
So we asked for this funding last year.
Thank you very much. Any other questions from the committee? Questions from the legislators? Questions from the public? Okay, I'm going to ask for this to be approved. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
We're going to move to 4C, approval for budgetary amendment 26A008, Planning Department account for federal HUD grant received, also reviewed in physical. This is zero fiscal impact, and
Right, that was the sidewalk grant we talked about, but the king of typo is myself again. That is actually increased estimated revenues, not decrease. And again, it's 7.5 million, and we get 7.5 million back in revenue. Barbara talked about the match being supplied by Your Trail organization.
No, this is a different.
Oh, this is a different one?
This is 100%
I'm losing
funding.
it. Which one is this one? Oh,
It's from the congressional,
that's right, this is from
the infrastructure.
So this has no match. It's 100% funding.
Right.
As we do the work, we will submit for reimbursement.
We don't need to make friends for this one.
No.
Sorry.
That's right, the other sidewalk grant is being applied for, and the budgetary will come later. You're right.
perfect, thank you. Any questions from the committee? Any questions from legislators? Any questions from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect.
Crowley, you just didn't get a second on that one.
Sorry, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're going to move on to 4D, the approval of budgetary amendment 26A009, Department of Social Services, Mental Health, and Youth Bureau, account for New York State, OMH, and OASAS state aid funding. This was reviewed in health.
Strict pass-through. The numbers are what the state says they are, and we're adjusting our books accordingly.
Okay, do we have any questions from the committee? Any questions from legislators? Any questions from the public? I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
4E is the approval of budgetary amendment 26A013 litigation settlement. This was reviewed in rules. There was a fiscal impact of $1,000.
Yeah, this resolution contemplates an agreement by the board to approve that settlement, and this will cover from our reserve the county's portion of the settlement, the deductible.
Any questions from the committee? Any questions from legislators? Any questions from the public? Ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're going to move to agenda item 7, which is an FYI, the county's deposits and investments for fourth quarter for 2025.
Using the funds, but, you know, we made around the same amount of income, yet the interest rates were lower, so we do the best to maximize the revenues that we can for the county, but ultimately, it's market conditions that are going to dictate how we do.
Any questions from the committee? Any questions from legislators? Senator Birmingham?
Yeah, thanks, President. This is always a very helpful report. Thank you for sending it to us. If you take a look at the, I guess, the last page of the report, certain things are blanked out, and I imagine those, for instance, the TD Bank one.
Yeah, that means there's nothing there
There's nothing
anymore.
there.
Yeah. They were on earlier reports, but they're not there anymore.
Right, so the 2016 Series A bond, for instance, that's blanked out because
It's all spent out.
How about the bond proceeds from 2012? We have almost $40 million. Is that still unspent from the 2012 bond issue?
Yeah, I think I'd have to see which
Yeah.
project it relates to.
And there's no interest rate next year, which is a good thing in this case. Well, is that because it's not being invested? Oh, yeah,
I think it's below the amount that
The-
they're earning.
All right.
We may be, and I have to see if we're using that. It might be a compensating balance, I have to check. I can check for you.
Yeah, thanks. And again, it's just, it's a long time out there.
No, it is.
We want to be careful with our trash.
We We always do.
I know.
That's why I always earn less.
Yep, I
I
know.
always earn less.
That's important. Is there any
That's why we
breakage?
separate them.
How are we doing on breakage fees? I know we have quite a bit in these CDs at Tompkins Bank,
Right.
Customers Bank. It's roughly about $54 million.
Right.
And that's typical, and, to have a CD, and do we have to see when they were open? Do we know how long they go out? I know we know, but can we get a report on that?
Sure. I can give you that, we can, pretty short term.
Yeah, and those are.
2 years or less, but, and we have a consultant, or one that helps bid and maximize, so they're bid out. And we go with the best rate.
Any other legislators? Legislator Goldman?
Thank you. I don't see them on here, but they're the local bank that has recently, in the last few months, been bought by a much larger bank. In that situation, does the contracts that we have money with change, or what?
Yeah, what happens is, probably we'll submit to you, this happens all the time, we'll submit to you a resolution amending our policy to change PSB to Beacon Bank. I assume that's what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah. It happens all the time. These banks change names and often, Like when we started, it was the Mayapack National Bank, now it's Tompkins Bank, we just keep amending our policy, but, when they're bought, they're still strong institutions. We don't have any worry about our collateral carries over, and in terms of the strength of the banks.
In that reality,
It's still a strong organization.
it's a bigger bank, so
Yep.
in the future, would we put more money into that situation?
Well, maybe, we try, our policy has us spread it around, so we have a cap on every bank.
Yeah.
So we might put more there depending on market conditions and how they bid on investments. But we wouldn't put it there just for the sake of putting it there, so to speak.
Yeah, that's not what I meant,
Size,
yeah. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Legislator Regan?
Thank you, Chairwoman. Commissioner, so I've taken a particular interest in this, and I've got just a little bit more to learn to catch up.
That's fine.
Pertaining to 3+1 consultants, talked about that before, two-part question, are you satisfied with their performance, and how often is that reviewed?
Oh, very satisfied with their performance, and it's reviewed, we review it monthly.
Monthly, in terms of our contract?
Yeah, they do it
with
for
3+1?
many, we do many consulting agreements throughout the county, but this is one of my favorite ones because it actually helps us earn more money, and they do a lot of counties. So it's a synergy, it's sort of like a pool. They bid out on behalf of a lot of people, and they get best rates.
Okay, and being that you're into and whatnot, that's what I'm looking to learn here. So how often, do we have a contract with 3+1?
Yes, we do. We have a yearly contract.
Okay,
And we do a monthly, if not quarterly, investment analysis with them of all our investments. What's coming due, they do a liquidity analysis for us.
okay.
They predict future cash flows and how you should invest, and timing matching up when you need the money with when it's available. They do a lot of good work for us.
So what I'm hearing from you is that you sound not only satisfied with their performance, but also with their customer service?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other legislators? Public? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Seeing how we did the other business, we're going to move to adjourn.
I have if I may.
Legislator Montgomery.
I'm really sorry. I really wanted to bring this up during the TAP grant because we had a lot of constituents, or a number of constituents, reach out to us. And I always think it's important to acknowledge that because they make our job what it is. And I really always appreciate public participation, their ideas, their comments, and their concerns. I feel like their input is invaluable to our mission. And I always appreciate people taking time, and I wanted to acknowledge that, and we did receive just a handful. Maureen Metzler McGrath, Paul Thompson, Tara Carroll, Joe Coneybear, Liz Corio, and Karen Shea all wrote to us regarding this, and I'm sorry I didn't say it while we were talking about it, but thank you for participating in government.
Thank you very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. I appreciate, all the cooperation and all the stakeholders on that came together to make it work.
Great collaboration, so great.
So with that, I'm going to move to adjourn. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye.
Bye, Bill, thank you.
Take care. Good evening and welcome to the February 19th, 2026 special meeting of the Putnam County Legislature. I'd ask everybody to rise for the pledge, please. Bill, would you lead us?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd ask us all to remain standing, please. I'd ask Legislator Tom Regan to lead us in either a legislative prayer or a moment of silence.
Well, in addition to a moment of silence, I'd like to take a moment tonight to publicly remember and recognize my friend Lou Gasparini. The parish of St. Lawrence, Putnam County, our community, and the USA lost a great fellow this week. To borrow the vernacular of the esteemed Eric Gross, in the finest tradition of the Brewster Fire Department, Lou served our community for 65 years. 65 years. In addition, he served our country in the Korean War and many other accolades which will be recounted in the next few days, all well-deserved. So let us take a moment of silence to remember Chief Lou, just one of the many helmets that he wore. Our country is a much better place for having Lou living and serving in it. Thank you, Lou Gasparini, for all you have done and set an incredible example of what it means to be a proud citizen and citizen of the USA and Putnam County. A moment of silence, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'd ask clerk to call the roll, please.
District 1 Legislator
Here.
District 2 Legislator Gorman.
Present.
District 3 Legislator Adnesio. District 4 Legislator Russo.
Present.
District 5 Legislator D'Angelo.
Present.
District 6 Legislator Regan.
Present.
District 8 Legislator Sage. District 9 Legislator Crowley.
Present.
District 7 Chairman Birmingham.
Here, and good evening and welcome. We have a one-item agenda tonight, folks. The first and only item is item number 4. Is there any motion? And if there is a motion, would somebody please just do a little describing of that motion?
Sure. I make a motion to approve local law amending Article 5 of Chapter 220 of the Code of Putnam County to clarify application of real property tax law 467 and to increase the maximum senior property tax exemption. So as I explained in the committee meeting just previously, this has a number of steps. It was brought to us first because the state enabled us to pass this legislation through legislation they passed in December 2025. As always happens, people are watching us and a constituent reached out and said, hey, how about it? Any municipality, county, a town, a village, a fire district, a school district can all pass the same property tax exemption. In addition, this also clarifies some things in the original 2022 law that didn't, I say jive, that's a word I use because I like rock and roll, jive with the town laws. And it caused some problems with us having to reimburse taxpayers for confusion. So this cleans up any of that language and puts us on track for the 2020-26 tax season, which is about to begin, and it helps the assessors do their job and makes everything clear.
Great.
Thanks. Is that okay?
That's great. That's awesome. Thank you. Any discussion among my colleagues? Anybody on the legislature? This is a full meeting, so we've had public discussion during the committee hearing. Seeing no other discussion, this is a local law, so we'll do a roll call vote.
Legislator Anizio, Legislator Crowley,
Yes.
Legislator D'Angelo,
Yes.
Legislator Coolman, Legislator Montgomery,
Yes.
Legislator Regan,
Yes.
Legislator Russo,
Yes.
Legislator Sage, Chairman Birmingham.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And this is the first local law we've passed as a legislature this year, so congratulations to everybody. Thank you. Seeing we don't have another business item, so I'll make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. It's